How to handle a woman who hurts you. Stoic advice for moving on. Stoicism explained. Stoic life lessons. You've probably experienced the pain of being hurt by someone you once loved. But did you know that how you handle this pain can determine the direction of your life? In reality, when you stop seeking validation from others, that's when you begin to take control of your life again. It may feel like everything is falling apart and she seems unaffected, but the truth is, your silence is what's making her rethink everything. The moment you stop chasing her attention, that's when things start to shift. In this video, I'll share how Stoic thinking can help you not only get over the pain, but also grow stronger from it. Let's explore the Stoic lessons that help you let go and live freely, unburdened by negative emotions. You'll never have to chase anyone again. 1. The unexpected power of silence. When a woman hurts you, your first instinct might be to lash out, to demand answers, to express the pain you're feeling, or to make her understand just how much she's hurt you. But here's the thing, that's exactly what she expects. She's waiting for you to react, to show that her actions have stirred something deep inside of you. She wants to see if you'll get emotional, if you'll beg for closure, or if you'll chase after her approval. But the real power move isn't any of that. It's silence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in your emotional arsenal, especially when you're practicing Stoic happiness. By choosing to remain silent, you turn the tables in ways she never expected. Why? Because women are wired to seek emotional feedback. When they hurt someone, they expect some kind of reaction to confirm that they still have influence over the situation and over you. But when you don't react, when you refuse to give her the emotional satisfaction she's anticipating, it forces her to reconsider everything. Why isn't he reacting the way I thought he would? Did he never care? Is he already moving on? These questions begin to spiral in her mind, creating doubt, confusion, and eventually anxiety. She starts to wonder if she's lost her grip on you, and with each passing moment of your silence, the power shifts in your favor. You're not ignoring her out of spite or to manipulate her into chasing you. Instead, you're simply choosing to preserve your emotional energy and maintain your own sense of worth. In that moment, you're not playing a game. You're holding on to your self-respect and self-control. This is one of the key teachings of Stoicism today, that your value isn't defined by the emotional chaos or actions of others. Instead of giving in to impulse and reacting out of pain, the Stoic way teaches us to control our emotions and not let them dictate our actions. In a world where so many people are caught up in trying to win others' approval, silence becomes a radical form of self-respect. Consider the example of a man who, after being betrayed by a partner, decides to take a step back, instead of chasing after explanations or reconciliation. Instead of falling into the trap of emotional dependency, he focuses on himself, his goals, his passions, his growth. His actions may confuse the person who hurt him, but they also speak volumes about his strength and resilience. As he remains calm and centered, the person who wronged him is left to face her own actions, without the comfort of knowing she still has control over his emotions. That's the power of silence, the ability to let someone else feel the weight of their own choices while you remain unshaken. Practicing this form of silence, you not only reclaim your power, but also align with the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control, your response. Ultimately, this shift in perspective helps you maintain inner peace and avoid the destructive cycle of seeking validation from others. This lesson in emotional restraint is one of the cornerstones of Stoic life lessons. In moments of hurt, you don't need to react to prove your value. Your silence proves it for you. 2. Reverse the power dynamic. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. Epictetus. When a woman hurts you, it's natural to want to chase after her, to seek answers, or to express how much pain you're feeling. You might think that by showing her your emotions, you'll get some sort of closure, or that you'll realize the depth of your care. However, this is exactly what she expects. The truth is, when you chase after her or get emotional, you hand her all the power. You confirm that her actions still affect you deeply and that she has control over your feelings. But in reality, the most powerful move you can make is to do the opposite. Instead of proving your worth by chasing after her, walk away. Focus on yourself, your growth, your goals, your purpose. This is where the Stoic philosophy really comes into play, offering valuable Stoic life lessons. By not reacting to her, you are not playing the game she expects you to play. This sudden shift catches her off guard because it's not just about stopping the chase. It's about taking back control over your own life. When you pull away, you shift the power dynamic completely. She thought she had time, that you'd always be there waiting, chasing her. She assumed that her actions were not enough to shake you and that you'd come back, begging for her attention. But when you stop giving her that attention, you take the power back. This is what the Stoics teach us. The only thing we control is our own response. And in this case, your response is to no longer seek her validation. When you stop playing the game, you force her to ask questions she never expected to answer. Did I miscalculate? Why isn't he chasing me? Is he really over me? These are the questions that start to flood her mind. The tables have turned. Instead of you wondering why she hurt you or how to win her back, now she's the one who has to wonder about you. This shift in focus from her to yourself isn't just about moving on. It's about realizing that your value is not dependent on someone else's validation. In life, this shift can feel strange, but it's essential for anyone practicing what is Stoicism today. It's easy to get trapped in the need to prove yourself, to show how much you care. But the Stoic perspective teaches that the pursuit of external validation leads only to frustration and confusion. Real strength comes when you recognize that your worth is intrinsic. When you detach from the need to chase, you're no longer giving away your power. You stop reacting to someone else's actions and instead choose to focus on your own growth and development. In a world filled with distractions and emotional turbulence, this level of emotional control is what sets you apart. The moment you reverse the power dynamic, you not only shift her perspective, but you also reclaim your own peace and strength. In the end, it's not about making her feel anything. It's about making yourself stronger, emotionally resilient, and unshaken by the actions of others. By embracing the Stoic philosophy, you move forward with purpose, realizing that you're in control of your own happiness, and that, my friend, is the ultimate victory. 3. The fear of losing you kicks in. A woman only truly values what she believes she might lose. Think about it. When you immediately reacted to her texts, when you chased after her, when you constantly made sure she knew you cared, she never really had to worry about losing you. In her mind, you were a constant, a person who would always be around. There was no urgency for her to appreciate you, because she assumed you'd never disappear. But here's where the Stoic mindset shifts everything. The moment you pull back, the moment you stop being that person who's always available, things start to change. She begins to feel a shift, an unsettling feeling that maybe you're no longer as emotionally available as you once were. That's when the panic sets in. Every message you don't reply to, it drives her to overthink. Every silence, every moment where she doesn't hear from you, it starts to make her question whether she's losing you. You've removed the safety net she once took for granted. At first, she might play it cool. She might not text you first. She might pretend like she doesn't care, act as though she's unfazed by the distance between you two. But deep down, she's feeling it. She begins scrolling through old messages, watching your social media stories more than usual, checking her phone every few minutes, hoping for a notification from you. That's when the power dynamic begins to shift. She goes from feeling in control to feeling uncertain, even desperate. When you were the one chasing, she had the power. But now, by simply stepping back and not feeding into the chase, you've put the ball in her court. The longer you remain detached, the more she starts to question, is he really over me? Did I mess up? This is where the win Stoic mindset comes into play. By refusing to chase, by holding your ground and focusing on yourself instead of constantly worrying about her approval, you've reversed the game. Now she's the one who has to work for your attention. But this isn't about playing games. It's about protecting your own value. As a high-value man, you recognize that your worth doesn't depend on constantly seeking someone's validation. You've understood that by pulling back and living for yourself, you naturally start to make her chase you, because now you're the one she feels she might lose. It's a powerful shift that's rooted in emotional strength. And let's be honest, when was the last time you felt truly at peace because you weren't chasing after anyone's approval? How does it feel to simply exist and focus on your own growth without constantly needing reassurance from someone else? It's liberating, isn't it? That's the beauty of embracing the Stoic mindset. You start to move through life without feeling like you're always at the mercy of someone else's emotions. You build your value, your self-worth from within, and that's exactly what makes others take notice. When you stop seeking external validation, you empower yourself. You make her realize that the certainty she once had in your attention is no longer guaranteed, and that's when the chase begins. On her end, not yours. This is the true strength of practicing Stoicism today. By understanding your own value and choosing not to give in to emotional impulses, you become the one who's in control. And remember, this isn't manipulation. This is simply living with self-respect and allowing someone else to see your worth without begging for their approval. 4. She starts testing you. When a woman realizes she no longer has control over you, don't think she's just going to sit back and let things unfold. No, she'll test you. In her mind, she needs answers to some key questions. Does he still care about me? Can I still get a reaction out of him? Is he really moving on without me? So, how does she test you? It might start with something seemingly innocent, a simple "hey" text meant to see if you'll respond right away. Or she might post a picture with another guy just to check if you'll get jealous. Maybe she'll start liking your old posts or watching your stories more frequently, all in an effort to see if you'll bite. It's subtle, but it's a clear attempt to regain the control she feels slipping away. And here's where most men get it wrong. They take the bait. The second she sends one of these signals, many men feel compelled to respond quickly, to show her they're still invested or to display a reaction, unaware that they're falling right into the trap. By reacting impulsively, they're essentially telling her that she still holds power over their emotions. But the man who has embraced the Stoic happiness mindset won't fall for this. He sees these tests for what they are, nothing more than attempts to regain control. When he doesn't react, when he holds his ground, he shows that he understands his value. The real test here isn't about whether she reaches out to you. It's about the effort she's willing to put in to repair things. If she truly regrets her actions and wants to make things right, she won't just send a half-hearted message. She'll take real, meaningful steps to fix what's broken. He was the one who was always there, always available, always showing how much he cared. But after a while, he realized that his efforts weren't being appreciated, and the relationship ended. Now, a few weeks later, the woman reaches out to him with a casual "hey" text, just to see if he'll respond. She posts pictures with a new guy, hoping he'll get jealous. But instead of falling back into old patterns and reacting out of hurt or confusion, he takes a step back. He doesn't rush to reply to the "hey" text, nor does he let his emotions get the best of him when he sees those photos. He's learned through Stoicism today that his emotional state shouldn't be dictated by someone else's actions. By not reacting impulsively, he not only avoids falling into the trap, but he also sets a boundary. He recognizes that if she truly wants to make things right, she'll have to show genuine effort. It's not enough to send a casual text or like his posts. She will have to work to prove that she values him. The key takeaway here is that when you stop reacting to these tests, you start taking control of the situation. When you don't give in to the urge to respond or prove anything, you signal that you are no longer emotionally available in the way she once thought. You've shifted the dynamic, and now she has to work for your attention. This is where your Stoic mindset comes in. By understanding your own worth and maintaining emotional control, you don't just passively accept whatever someone throws your way. Instead, you create a space where only meaningful, intentional actions will get your attention. So next time you find yourself being tested, remember, the way you respond or don't respond shows her how much you value yourself and how much you're willing to settle for. If she truly cares, she'll put in the effort. If not, you've saved yourself from falling into old patterns and made room for someone who truly values what you bring to the table. That's the power of practicing Stoicism and living with a high sense of self-worth. If you've made it this far, you're ready to take control of your emotional strength. Drop a comment saying, "I am in control," to show you're embracing the Stoic mindset and leveling up your life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more life-changing Stoic advice. The best is yet to come. Stay tuned. 5. The ultimate shift. She chases you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where everything seems to be going well and then suddenly things shift? You were once the one doing the chasing, but now the tables turn and it feels like she's the one reaching out to you. It might seem like a victory at first, but there's a deeper layer at play here that many men miss. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This mindset isn't just about material wealth, it's about emotional wealth too, recognizing your worth and not allowing someone else's actions to dictate your emotional state. The moment she realizes that her usual tactics aren't working, something shifts in her. She begins to chase you. You'll notice it in the small things. She starts texting more often, making excuses to talk to you, bringing up the good times you shared. For the first time, she feels like she's losing you, and that fear of loss is one of the most powerful forces in attraction. In her mind, she's now in a position where she feels uncertain, and that uncertainty sparks a desire to get back the emotional control she once had. But here's where most men go wrong. They see her making an effort and quickly think, now's the time to forgive and forget. They drop all their power and immediately make themselves available again, forgiving her for everything that came before and letting her back into their lives. In doing so, they lose the strength they built and reset the cycle. By letting her back in without her proving she's changed, they essentially allow her to take control once more. And with that, the attraction fades. The key to handling this shift is rooted in the Stoic life lessons of self-respect and emotional control. A man who understands his worth doesn't rush back into the relationship out of fear of being alone or feeling desired. He recognizes that his emotional state is within his control, not hers. Instead of being swept up by her newfound effort, he evaluates whether her actions are genuine or simply a reaction to her own fear of losing him. If she wants back into his life, she has to prove that she's willing to change, to show real effort and growth. This is where the Stoic mindset becomes crucial. By maintaining your boundaries and not rewarding bad behavior, you don't just keep your power, you create a situation where she must work to earn back your trust and respect. This approach isn't about playing games or being cold. It's about valuing yourself enough to not rush back into a situation that doesn't serve you. It's about understanding that attraction thrives on challenge, and when she realizes she has to prove her worth to you, the dynamic shifts in your favor. By maintaining your strength and not rushing into forgiveness or complacency, you're not only protecting your emotional well-being, but you're also setting a standard that can lead to a healthier, more balanced relationship. In world, it's easy to fall into the trap of letting someone else's behavior dictate your actions, especially when emotions are involved. But by practicing Stoicism today, you equip yourself with the tools to handle these shifts with grace and clarity. You realize that just like in any aspect of life, your time, energy, and emotional investment are valuable, and they should be given only to those who show they truly deserve it. The real shift in power happens when you stop chasing and start setting the pace, letting her prove she's worthy of being in your life, rather than just taking her efforts at face value. That's when you truly win. 6. When she regrets taking you for granted. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a relationship where you gave everything and yet you found yourself being taken for granted? You invested your time, energy, and love, but in the end it seemed like it wasn't enough. You may have been hurt, and when you walked away, it felt like the world was falling apart. But here's the thing. The moment she realizes she's lost your presence, everything changes. At first, she tries to ignore it. She may convince herself that you'll come back, that eventually you'll break the silence and reach out. But what happens when you don't? What happens when she sees you moving on without a second thought? That's when regret creeps in, slowly at first and then all at once. And this is where the Stoic mindset becomes critical. You've set a boundary. You've chosen to move forward. The absence of your presence forces her to reflect on what she had. And that's when she starts replaying old memories in her mind. How you supported her, how you were always there for her, how you made her feel safe and important. And now that stability is gone, leaving her with nothing but doubt and regret. Did I make the wrong choice? Why aren't he chasing me? Is he really over me? These questions start to haunt her, because when you stop chasing, when you stop seeking her validation, you take the power back. At first, she might try to distract herself, maybe by dating someone new, partying, or diving into her work. But as high-value men know, distractions can only mask reality for so long. Eventually, when she's alone, late at night, she feels it, the silence, the emptiness. It's then that the realization hits her. The man who once cared deeply for her is no longer there. And that realization, it's not something she can easily ignore. It's a haunting feeling, one that settles deep inside her. And here's the thing most men don't realize. Women rarely regret losing a man right away. Regret comes when they see that he's truly gone, that you've moved on without a second thought, without trying to earn her back. And when she realizes that she might have made a mistake, that's when the real panic sets in. But this is the Stoic life lesson at play. It's about recognizing that you, as a man of value, deserve the respect and love that's mutual, not conditional. What is Stoicism if not the recognition of your own worth, without relying on someone else's approval? The moment you stop begging for her attention, the moment you stop giving her more chances than she deserves, is the moment you reclaim your power. When you pull away, when you refuse to chase after her, it forces her to confront the reality of your absence. The silence becomes a mirror, showing her what she had and now what she's lost. It's important to realize that regret doesn't come from the moment she loses you. It comes from seeing you move on without her, from realizing that you are no longer available to fulfill the role she once took for granted. When this happens, you shift the dynamic. No longer are you the one seeking validation or trying to prove yourself. Instead, you're the one who holds the cards. And when she begins to panic, when she starts questioning her choices, you've already won. Not by playing games, but by respecting your own value and not settling for less than you deserve. The real shift happens when you choose to let go and focus on yourself. This is where the Stoic mindset truly comes to life, valuing yourself and your worth above all else, never letting someone else's actions dictate your emotional state. And when she sees that you've moved on, that's when the regret kicks in. That's when the power truly shifts in your favor. 7. When she starts watching you from a distance. Have you ever felt the sting of loss in a relationship and then noticed something strange happening afterward? Maybe she's not reaching out directly, but you get the sense that she's still watching, trying to figure out what you're doing. You might see her scrolling through your social media more often, checking your stories, asking mutual friends about you, all without ever saying a word to you. At first, she'll convince herself it's nothing, just casual curiosity. But you and I both know the truth. Deep down, she's looking for something. She's searching for clues. Is he really over me? Has he moved on? Is he happy without me? And when she sees you thriving, when she sees you living your life without being stuck in the pain of the past, that's when things change. That's when she starts to panic. This is where the Stoic mindset comes into play. The more she watches you do well, without her, the more she feels the fear creeping in, the fear of having lost you. You've stopped waiting for her approval, and now she wonders if someone else is giving you what she never did. What if he's found someone else? What if he's happier with her? These thoughts start to eat away at her, because as much as she might have pushed you away, the idea of losing you completely is a powerful trigger. The hardest thing for her to process isn't just that you've moved on. It's that you've moved on without her. In a world full of distractions and emotional manipulation, it's easy for someone to think they can take your love for granted. But when you start living life on your terms, When you start finding your own happiness and focusing on your growth, the power shifts in your favor. You've learned to let go of the past and accept that Stoic happiness doesn't come from holding on to something that no longer serves you. That's when she feels the true weight of the loss, and it's then that she might start questioning whether she was truly the one who mattered most in your life. Was I just a chapter in his story? That fear of being replaced, of seeing you happy without her, eats away at her. This is not about seeking revenge or playing games. It's about recognizing that your self-worth doesn't depend on someone else's validation. You're no longer at her mercy, waiting for her to decide if you matter. You've shifted the dynamic by taking control of your own life and embracing your own strength. How different would your life look if you truly understood the power of letting go and moving on with confidence, instead of holding on to someone who isn't ready to give you the respect and love you deserve? She might be watching from a distance, but you're too busy creating a future that makes you feel fulfilled and valued. In the end, that's the most powerful move you can make. When you stop waiting for someone else to define your worth, you begin living a life that's rooted in your own values and priorities. This is the true essence of Stoicism today. It's about controlling what you can, your actions, your growth, and your happiness, while letting go of what you cannot control, like someone who refuses to see your value. By doing so, you create the kind of life that makes others take notice, and you allow yourself to thrive without relying on external validation. When she sees you truly moving on, when she realizes that you're better off without her, that's when the real change happens. You've stopped being the one who chases. You've become the one who is chased. 8. When she realizes she's losing her grip on you. What you may not realize is that for a lot of women, there's comfort in knowing that they can still have you whenever they choose. It gives them a sense of power, a security blanket that they hold on to even while emotionally checked out. When you finally let go, when you start moving on, focusing on your growth, and refusing to sit around waiting for someone who isn't offering you what you deserve, that's when the real shift happens. When she sees you leveling up, thriving without her, that's when she realizes she's losing control. This is where Stoic life lessons really come into play. It's all about finding peace in your own journey, independent of anyone else's actions or feelings. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, taught us that we cannot control the actions of others, only our reactions. And when she notices that you've stopped reacting to her mind games, when you stop playing the game altogether, the power shifts. She can no longer text you and expect you to drop everything or post a picture and have you jumping for attention. The uncertainty and the inability to control you is what rattles her. The power you've taken back isn't about playing hard to get. It's about living life with a sense of purpose and self-worth that doesn't rely on anyone's approval. In life, we see this all the time. People constantly jumping through hoops to win back someone's attention or affection, neglecting their own happiness in the process. But the Stoic mindset is different. It's about knowing that your happiness is not for sale, and no one has the power to take that away from you. When you stop allowing someone to keep you on standby, you create space for something real. You stop putting your life on hold for someone who can't commit, and you stop giving them the power to dictate your mood. What is Stoicism if not this? Choosing to focus on what is within your control, your actions, your growth, your peace of mind, while letting go of what is not. She might not understand it at first, but she will start to notice. She'll notice that you no longer jump at her beck and call, that you're not waiting around for a text or an excuse to reach out. You've reclaimed your power by focusing on yourself, and that's when she realizes that she's no longer the one who has the upper hand. She sees you moving forward, and for the first time, she feels truly powerless. When you don't react to her attempts to gain control, when you stop being available just to appease her, the dynamic changes completely. By living your life with intention, and by choosing to grow, you force the other person to confront their own feelings of loss. You show them that Stoic happiness comes from within, not from the validation of someone else. And when she realizes that she's no longer in control of the situation, that's when the dynamic changes for good. You've leveled up, and now it's her turn to wonder if she's lost you for good. 9. When a woman loses certainty about getting you back. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try to move on, she's always there, in control, knowing that she can always pull you back into her orbit? It's a frustrating feeling, right? You may think that when she pulls away, she's over you, or that the emotional connection is lost. But the truth is, many women, whether they're aware of it or not, are driven by the ability to control a situation. And that includes you. The moment she knows she has the power to get you back at any time, that certainty keeps her from truly valuing you. But here's the thing most men don't realize. When that certainty is gone, when she sees that you're no longer waiting, that you're not reaching out, and that you're focused on your own growth, that's when her attraction actually spikes. In that moment, she no longer feels secure in her ability to just walk back into your life when it suits her. And what happens next? She starts chasing you. For once, the power dynamic shifts. Now, she's the one who has to earn your attention. And this shift is often when she begins to truly realize what she's lost. This is a perfect example of how the Stoic mindset can work in your favor. Instead of clinging to someone who doesn't value you or taking on the role of constantly trying to prove your worth, you let go. You focus on your own growth, your own peace, and you stop waiting for anyone to determine your happiness. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You see, high-value men understand that true worth comes from within. They don't look for validation in others. When you're no longer available for emotional manipulation or to be someone's backup plan, it's not a punishment or revenge. It's simply you reclaiming your independence and self-respect. And it's in that very moment of self-respect that she begins to feel the fear of losing you. When she starts chasing, you must remain grounded. This isn't about playing games, it's about you maintaining your worth and keeping the focus on yourself. By shifting your focus away from her and toward your own personal development, you embody the principles of Stoicism today, finding joy and contentment regardless of external circumstances. You're no longer at the mercy of her emotional fluctuations. You're the one in control of your own happiness and peace. Have you noticed that when you stop giving someone your energy, they suddenly start giving you theirs? That's not a coincidence. It's a natural human reaction. When she loses certainty about being able to pull you back, the game changes. Now, she's the one who has to figure out how to regain your attention, how to earn your trust, and how to prove her worth to you. And that process, her chasing you, her working to win you back, is exactly what many men wish for: the return of desire and attraction. But to get there, you have to remain steadfast. You don't rush back into her life. You don't give in to the temptation to feel needed. Instead, you stay focused on what matters most: your own growth and your own journey. The lesson that Stoicism teaches us, and it's the ultimate way to attract the right people into your life, The ones who will appreciate you for who you are, not for what you can give them. When a woman loses certainty about getting you back, she's forced to see you for the high-value man you've become. And that, my friend, is when she begins to chase you, realizing just how much you are worth all along. 10. When she starts sending mixed signals. When you find yourself caught in a situation where she's sending you mixed signals, it can feel like you're being pulled in two directions. One minute, she's distant, and the next, she's reaching out, sending small hints that might suggest she's still interested. You might notice her liking your posts, sending an accidental text, or sharing things online that seem designed to grab your attention. Don't get caught up in these breadcrumbs. This isn't a sign that she's ready to fix things or make a real commitment. Instead, it's a way for her to test whether she still has power over you. When you react too quickly, when you jump to text her back or feel excited that she's finally reaching out, you're giving her exactly what she wants: control. She hasn't changed. She's simply looking for reassurance that she can still have you whenever she wants. And when you give her that, the cycle starts over again. She feels in control, and you're back to square one. The problem with this pattern is that it doesn't lead to anything meaningful. It's just a game, and games don't lead to genuine connection or growth. This is where the Stoic mindset comes in, where you focus on what you can control, which is your response and your emotional state. Stoicism teaches us that the external world, like her mixed signals, doesn't define your happiness. You control how you react. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So, when she throws out these tests, the best thing you can do is remain calm, centered, and detached. The last thing you want to do is fall for her signals, because what you're looking for isn't just attention, it's real change and effort. When a woman is sending mixed signals, it's important to ask yourself, what am I really seeking here? Are you just looking for some form of attention, or do you want someone who genuinely respects you, values you, and is ready to put in the effort to build something meaningful? In the long run, Stoic happiness doesn't come from the approval of others, especially if it's fleeting and unreliable. It comes from self-mastery and emotional resilience. So when she reaches out, stay grounded. Don't let your emotions control your actions. If she's truly interested in reconnecting, she will show it through consistent effort, not through half-hearted signals. Real change doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen because someone dangles their attention in front of you. It happens when someone is willing to put in the time and energy to build something real. Don't settle for games. You are a high-value man, and you deserve someone who will meet you at your level. Someone who will prove their worth and show you that they are ready for something deeper. Remember, this isn't just about avoiding a toxic pattern. It's about reclaiming your power, practicing patience, and understanding that you don't need someone else's validation to feel whole. Out of the essence of Stoicism today, mastering your inner world so that external circumstances don't dictate your happiness or your sense of self-worth. So, next time she sends you those mixed signals, take a step back. Don't rush to react. Let her put in the real work. Because you're not looking for temporary attention. You're looking for genuine, lasting change. And when you keep your focus on that, you will win the Stoic way. 11. When she finally tries to get you back. At some point, After you've maintained your strength and emotional detachment, the dynamic shifts, and she may finally make a real move to get you back. This isn't just another casual text or some light-hearted attempt to grab your attention. This time she will show genuine regret. She might bring up old memories, try to explain herself, or even apologize, something she may have sworn never to do. But here's the crucial part. Now you hold all the power. This is the turning point where the tables have turned, and it's no longer about what she wants or how she feels. It's about what you want and how you choose to move forward. At this stage, you have a decision to make. Do you welcome her back with open arms, hoping that things will somehow return to the way they once were? Or do you continue building your life forward, setting boundaries and new standards that she must meet if she truly wants a place in your world? It's easy to feel tempted to fall back into old patterns, especially if you're longing for closure or validation. But this is where the Stoic mindset comes into play. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control and detach from what we cannot. In this scenario, you control your response, your next steps, and ultimately your peace of mind. In today's world, where relationships can sometimes feel like a game of back and forth, it's easy to lose sight of what's truly important. The truth is, this entire process was never really about getting her back. It was about rediscovering yourself, regaining your strength, and ensuring that you never need someone else's validation to feel whole again. As Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." When it comes to relationships, it's not about clinging to someone or fighting for their attention. It's about being content and strong within yourself. Once you understand this, the need to chase or constantly seek validation from others fades away. The real lesson here is that by remaining strong and detached, you reclaim your power, not just in the relationship, but in life. This is what it means to be a high-value man, someone who doesn't settle for less than what he deserves and doesn't allow anyone to dictate his worth. When she finally reaches out, don't be swayed by the weight of past emotions or the allure of the apology. In the end, the most significant takeaway from this experience isn't about her or the relationship. It's about the person you become when you embrace your own worth, regardless of someone else's actions. This is the core of Stoic life lessons. Understanding that your inner peace is not dependent on external circumstances. Instead of chasing after fleeting moments of validation, you focus on creating a life of fulfillment and strength from within. So, when the time comes for her to make her move, remember, you are the one in control, and your decision will reflect the man you've worked hard to become. 12. When she tries to make you jealous. At some point, when she realizes she's losing control over the situation, she may resort to playing games, trying to make you jealous. This is a sign of desperation, a way for her to get some kind of emotional reaction from you. She might start posting pictures with other men, commenting on their posts, or sharing how happy she suddenly seems. But here's the thing you need to understand. This isn't a sign that she's truly moved on, nor is it an indication that she's over you. This behavior is a calculated move to get a response. She wants to know if you'll bite, if you'll feel jealousy and react by reaching out. She wants to see if she still has the power to affect you emotionally. But here's the key. If you're a man who understands his value and lives with a Stoic mindset, you won't fall into her trap. You won't let her games dictate your emotions. Instead, you'll stay focused on your own growth and continue walking your path. By doing so, you demonstrate that her attempts to control you are futile, and that's when the shift happens. She'll begin to realize that it's no longer she who holds the cards, but you. As the famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you stop playing into her emotional manipulation, you start taking back your power. She'll be left wondering why you're not playing along, and that's when the power dynamic truly changes. A high-value man doesn't need to react to these tactics. He keeps moving forward. The simple truth is, a man who's secure in his worth doesn't let others' behavior determine his actions. Remember, this isn't about her, it's about you, your peace, your stability, and your growth. Keep moving forward with the understanding that, by not engaging in these emotional games, you are not just winning the situation, you are winning at life. If you're ready to embrace a stronger, more focused version of yourself, drop a comment with "I'm mastering my mind." Don't forget to like and subscribe for more wisdom on how Stoicism can change your life. We've just scratched the surface. Stick around for the next step in your transformation. 13. When she starts overcompensating. When she starts overcompensating, it's a clear sign that she's feeling the pressure of losing you, and she knows it. Her usual tactics, whether it's making you jealous, sending mixed signals, or testing your boundaries, are no longer working, and that leaves her in a place of vulnerability. So she'll switch gears and start to behave differently. Suddenly she might become overly nice to you, acting as if nothing ever happened. She could be liking all of your posts, flooding your social media with attention, or even sending long, heartfelt messages, trying to revive what's been lost. But here's where most men fall into a trap. They mistake her overcompensating for genuine interest or remorse. They think it's a sign she wants them back for real. But you need to understand something important. This isn't necessarily about her wanting you back. It's about her needing reassurance. She's testing the waters to see if she can still have you if she changes her mind. And that's a huge difference. So, before you jump to conclusions, pause and ask yourself, is she showing real remorse? Or is this just panic? Is she making consistent efforts to rebuild the connection? Or is this simply a temporary reaction to her fears of losing you? Is she trying to reconnect because she truly values what you had? Or is she simply trying to return to her comfort zone where she knows she has control? If you recognize that her actions are short-term attempts to restore a sense of control, you must stay grounded in your principles and remember that you are playing for long-term value, not temporary emotional highs. A man with a Stoic mindset understands the importance of genuine effort over superficial gestures. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "True love is not about being needed, it's about being chosen." Real growth, both for her and for you, can only come when there is a foundation of sincerity, not just fleeting actions. So, don't get caught up in her immediate attempts to win you over. Evaluate her actions carefully. Are they consistent? Are they aligned with long-term intentions, or just a band-aid for her ego? Recognize your worth, stay focused on your own growth, and don't settle for anything less than real change. Stoicism today teaches us that true Stoic happiness comes from understanding and maintaining your own values, regardless of the temporary distractions life throws at you. You've learned how to value yourself, and now you must not lose that in the face of her fleeting gestures. 14. When she hopes you'll be friends. When a woman suggests being friends after everything has fallen apart, it might seem like a harmless offer, but there's something deeper at play. At first glance, it may appear like she just wants to keep some form of connection with you, but in reality, she's offering you a spot in her emotional backup plan. A high-value man knows that true friendship is built on mutual respect, not convenience. Let's be honest. If she truly valued you as a friend, she wouldn't act distant when you stop responding, nor would she get jealous when she sees you thriving without her. Instead of giving you space, she's checking in, trying to see if you've moved on. She's seeking comfort, not a true friendship. In fact, the moment she sees you living your life and succeeding without her, her ego starts to shift. The thought of losing control, of losing you, eats away at her, and so she reverts to what she knows best, keeping you around just in case she needs a safety net. In these moments, you must ask yourself a simple yet important question. Are you okay with being a backup? Because a Stoic mindset understands that we shouldn't allow ourselves to become an emotional fallback for someone who isn't fully invested.